Barracks NCOs? What's the most disgusting thing you found during room inspections? I was the Barracks NCO at Fort Benning for 3 years. Thought I'd seen everything. Moldy pizza boxes, forgotten laundry piles, soldiers living like cavemen. Nothing prepared me for Private Everett Chambers. Chambers was this kid from Vermont, 20 years old, kept to himself, always on time for formation. Clean uniform, polished boots, zero disciplinary issues. Model soldier on paper. But his roommate, Sterling Wade, kept putting in maintenance requests. Said their room had a weird smell, like something died in the walls. Maintenance checked the vents, looked for dead mice, found nothing. The smell kept getting worse. Other soldiers on the floor started complaining. Wade moved out, requested a room transfer, said he couldn't sleep anymore because of the stench. That's when I decided to do a surprise inspection. Friday morning, 0600. Knocked on Chambers' door. He answered in his PT uniform, looking nervous. Not suspicious nervous, just uncomfortable. The smell hit me immediately, like rotting garbage mixed with swamp water and something else I couldn't identify. Chambers, what is that smell? Not sure, Sergeant. Maintenance said it's probably the pipes. I pushed past him into the room. It looked spotless. Bed made perfectly. Desk organized. Walls bare except for one Army values poster. Floor vacuumed. Nothing out of place. But the smell was overwhelming. Made my eyes water. Had to be coming from somewhere inside this room. Started checking obvious places. Under the bed, behind the desk, inside the wall locker. Everything clean. Chambers stood by the door watching me, getting more anxious by the second. Then I noticed his mini fridge. Standard issue. Every soldier had one. But his was unplugged. Cord just lying on the floor. Why's your fridge unplugged, Chambers? Trying to save electricity, Sergeant. Being environmentally conscious. Wrong answer. Nobody unplugs their fridge to save electricity. That's where soldiers keep their drinks cold, their leftovers fresh. An unplugged fridge meant something bad. I opened it. The smell that came out nearly knocked me over. Had to step back, cover my nose with my shirt. Worst thing I'd ever smelled in 15 years of military service. Inside was a biological nightmare. Chambers had been using his fridge as a homemade composting bin. Had food scraps from the dining facility piled up for weeks. Apple cores, banana peels, leftover chicken, bread crusts, vegetables, all decomposing together. The entire bottom of the fridge was filled with black liquid. Some kind of rot juice that had been fermenting in there for who knows how long. Mold growing on every surface. Bugs floating in the liquid. What the hell is this, Chambers? He started explaining in this panicked rush. Said he'd grown up on a farm, family did composting. When he got to the Army, felt wasteful throwing food in the trash. Decided to compost in his room. Use it for a garden he was planning. You're composting food in an unplugged fridge? In your barracks room? Why didn't you just throw it outside? Regulations say no food waste outside the building, Sergeant. Bears and wildlife. Figured this was the next best option. The kid genuinely thought he was following the rules. Found a loophole that let him compost indoors because technically the regulations never said you couldn't. I called in the hazmat team. They showed up in full protective gear. Treated Chambers' room like a toxic waste site. Fridge had to be sealed in plastic, carried out by guys wearing respirators. The biological team tested the liquid. Found 17 different types of bacteria growing in there. Some they couldn't even identify. Said it was basically a petri dish of diseases. They had to strip the room down to bare walls, removed the carpet, repainted everything, sanitized every surface twice. Cost the Army $4,000 in cleaning and repairs. Chambers got an Article 15 for destruction of government property and creating a health hazard. Lost his rank, got extra duty for 2 months, had to pay for the damages. But here's the kicker. During his disciplinary hearing, Chambers brought in research papers, studies about reducing military food waste, Army environmental initiatives, composting programs on other bases. Made this whole presentation about how the military should have official composting systems. Turned his screw-up into a policy proposal. The battalion commander was impressed. Said Chambers' heart was in the right place. Execution was just terrible. After he finished his punishment, they let him start an actual composting program. Put bins outside the dining facility, worked with local farms to collect food waste properly. Program became so successful, it spread to 3 other bases. Wade finally moved back into the room after it got renovated. Made Chambers promise no more environmental experiments without approval. Last I heard, Chambers made specialist and got assigned to the base sustainability office. Kid who created the worst health hazard I'd ever seen ended up winning an award for environmental service. But I still can't eat at that dining facility without remembering that smell. Some things you just never forget. The hazmat team still talks about it. They named it the compost incident of 2019. Became part of their training scenarios. Never underestimate what a soldier will hide during room inspections, even when they think they're doing the right thing.